welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. This is the free astro theology course. Our current textbook, or our textbook for this class, is the Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained, published in 1892 by Carl Anderson. All right, so in this astrotheology class, y'all, we talk about the Hermetic Laws, the laws that govern the cosmos, the laws that actually create astrology, the laws that govern that which creates astrology, at least the solar projection of astrology, or the ecliptic projection of astrology. So of course that would be the ecliptic. Okay, so the ecliptic. Why? Because of the sun's movement along the path. That's the old path that the prophets talked about, taking us in one zodiac sign and out of the other, or in one constellation, out of it, and then into the next, all the way through the path, which would equal a year, and of course the precession of the equinoxes, which is the apparent backward movement, which gives rise to, which happens every, each zodiacal age is 2,160 years thereabout, and the great year is 25,900, okay? 25,900 years. All right, so if you add those 12 zodiacal ages up together, you get 25,900 years. So most of the ancient cultures came in right around that number. Also right around 2,160 for a zodiacal year, y'all. The mosquitoes, whew, this place is terrible about mosquitoes. Dang. Also, let me just get into it. Let's begin on page 144. Otherwise, I might still be talking for the next hour on something not directly related to what we're dealing with now. Okay, so we stopped on page 144, so let's pick it up. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Actually, we stopped on page 145. 146. So we covered Saturn, and now we are on Uranus. Okay, now y'all should remember that our ancient ancestors did not say anything about Uranus. Okay, that came later. Okay, so we're going to pick it up on the discussion about Uranus on page 146. First paragraph. Situated or posited in the fifth house, or house of children, Uranus shows abortions, miscarriages, premature birth, children who upset their parents' calculations, or children who don't meet their parents' expectations, okay? So already this is terrible stuff, right? Also destruction to pleasure and hope. So these are people who are given to what they would say in religion, fleshly desires and false hopes, ridiculous hopes. And also delight in occult matters. Now, that's a connotative. I don't like that he used the word occult, because that's not the occult matters simply means hidden knowledge. There's nothing bad about it. It's just somebody don't want you to know and they hide it from you. So you can see this author's Christian point of view coming out there, right? So he's using occult in a negative way, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual meaning of occult. For it is also the house of pleasure. So it's also Uranus is also the house of pleasure. Uranus is evil wherever positive. Uranus produces frost and snow and chills the atmosphere. So cold, right? Cold-hearted person. Cold weather has no mercy on anyone. Right? You're going to freeze to death if you don't have some type of protection. Uranus makes visionary and cranky and insane people. Wow. But why visionary, y'all? What do you mean by visionary? It makes visionary and cranky and insane people. I wonder if that's a meaning of visionary. Let me check it out. That is not in common use today. So let me look it up. All right, visionary. Let's see. Man, they should really do something about these mosquitoes in here. I see why there's no customers in here. The mosquitoes chase them all out. I think nobody wants to come here because of the mosquitoes. But I think the employees know it, and they just come here and collect the check. And they're happy to sit there and do nothing at the expense of the people who own this company, right? So they're going to ride it until the wheels fall off. Okay, here's one of the meanings as an adjective for visionary. Given to or characterized by fanciful, not presently workable, or unpractical ideas, views, or schemes. All right, so I understand what he's saying now. These are people who are unrealistic, okay? Always planning and moving, but going nowhere. Unrealistic. Never accomplish anything. Okay, it makes visionary and cranky and insane people. Uranus color is frosty and rules over light-haired and gray-haired people. Now, that doesn't make sense at all to me. I can understand light hair because if you have light hair, that would mean, so let's see, light hair would be like a light brown or blonde, bleached out type of hair, which might, if you're a hybrid, then that would be indicative of melanin deficiency, right? Or albino, I can see that. But it says gray-haired people. I don't see that because gray hair can be caused by a copper deficiency. So if you have a copper deficiency, it'll turn your hair gray. You start getting gray hairs. It continues. It says hard to understand and impossible to govern. Also the very aged. So hard to understand and impossible to govern people. So these would, I think, be people who are hybrid because their personalities, at least according to What's the name of the book? It may even be in the, is it? I think it may be in the Clock of Destiny, Volume 1, where it talks about hybrids and their personality being cantankerous and irritable. You know, people who are on edge and, you know, they're just ready for a fight or to make trouble. So I guess we'd have to include red-haired people in that as also. Not that red hair is only something that hybrids have. I don't agree with that. From my point of view, all complexions presented or were present before there was a hybrid, and all textures of hair and all colors, right? Everyone was not jet black and kinky hair. That's just that's nonsense. There's something called variety and variability, dominant and recessive gene. You may as well say everyone had the same nose and everyone had the same ears. Take it to the extreme, everyone had the same face. Everyone had the same face, right? Of course that doesn't make sense. There's variety in the shape of the ears, the shape of the nose, the shape of the lips, the eyebrows, right? Hair texture, hair length, complexion, so height, so on and so forth. There's variety. But anyway, let's continue. All right. So very old people tend to have these lower self behavior type of tendencies, okay? According to this author. The character to express the beneficent planet Jupiter is, let me read. The character to express the beneficent planet Jupiter, all right. I didn't get, so this is Jupiter. So this is the icon, or as he calls it, the character. This is Jupiter. Okay, so now we've covered Saturn, we've covered Uranus. Why did he go in that order? Now we are at Jupiter. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to figure out why. Give me 1 second. So here are the 7 planets. So the author began by discussing Saturn first. Y'all see Saturn with his rings? So these are the 7 planets, and well, actually 5 planets and 2 luminaries. So the author began discussing Saturn. Then he discussed Uranus, and now he's jumping to Jupiter. Why did he discuss it in that order? So, take a look at here. So Uranus is here. These last 3 were not known by our ancient ancestors. Okay, so y'all see Uranus. So he discussed Saturn, jump backward to Uranus, and now forward to Jupiter. I don't understand. Maybe we'll pick it up. Maybe we'll catch it. Anyway, the character to express the beneficent planet Jupiter is, as we just saw, it looks like a number 4, right? So Jupiter is beneficent. I don't know how to pronounce that. Or the beneficent. So it's good, right? You see benefit in that, beneficial. The planet is the greater fortune, the author through the eternal one, the author through the eternal one. Take a look at that. The author through the eternal one of all good and beneficial matters and gifts. Jupiter was known to the ancients as Jupiter. Now y'all know that the J, take a look, Ja, so you have to remove the J and replace it with the Y, right? So it would be Yah. Yah is a contracted form of Yahweh, YHWH. Okay, y'all can check that in your Strong's lexicon. And then it says Petri or Peter. Okay? So Yah, or you can also replace the Y with an I and it would be IAH or YAH. So here you see the Tetragrammaton, or what they call the divine name in religion, in Christianity and Judaism. Y'all see it? Jah Petri or Petre. So this is something for you believers in YHWH to consider. What's the meaning or the significance of the ancients calling what the planet the heavenly body, the planet, calling Jupiter, which we call it today, calling it Jah Petri. Okay, Pitre. So he was known to the ancients as Jah Petri, and by the Greeks as Io Petri. Well, he just said what I just said. All right, Io, because remember the Y and the I are interchangeable. The I and the Y are interchangeable. So Io Petri, and by the Hebrews as Yahweh, or Jehovah, or Jove, or the perfect and upright one, the creator and producer from Io, signifying the Father Spirit, the life giver, against whom good influence no evil can prevail. So let me point these names of the deity out. So y'all see it, Yahweh, Jehovah, Jove. Now this is dealing with the planet Jupiter or Jupiter, right? Which is also Yah or Jupiter. Okay? So all of these names again signify the Father Spirit, the life giver, against whose good influence no evil can prevail. For it is a known fact that no one can die while Jupiter casts one beneficent ray or aspect. Jupiter is the largest of the planetary system under our sun. So Jupiter is the largest planet. Jupiter is the greater fortune. So Jupiter would be good luck. The author of all good and beneficial matters, being so ordained by the great ruler of all. Being so ordained by the great ruler of all. Under Jupiter's good aspects, deal with the dignitaries, ecclesiastical and judicial. Did y'all hear that? ecclesiastical, priestly, and judicial. Jupiter is the greater fortune, the author of all good and beneficent matters, being so ordained by the great ruler of all. Listen, under his good aspects, deal with all dignitaries, ecclesiastical. Priestcraft, y'all, priestcraft. Priestcraft. Dark priesthood, the black priesthood, and judicial, as in the judicial, Judeo-Christian legal system. Y'all got it? Judicial, Judeo-Christian legal system. So the democracy, the feudalism, okay? The democracy, the feudalism, the black codes. Now remember, this is coming through YHWH. This is coming through the Tetragrammaton. This is coming through, what is it called? The great ruler of all. Under his good aspects, deal with all dignitaries, ecclesiastical or priestly, and judicial. So, of course, the dark priesthood has corrupted all of this, right? It has corrupted these things from being good and beneficial into being what? The polar opposite. The absolute polar opposite, which are bad or oppressive to the people. Everybody see it? So polar opposite, of course, that's a law of opposites, that's a law of polarity. Okay? So we see a common pattern of what has been taking place. The hybrids never come up with something new. Neither did the dirty Moors. It's never something new. What do? Their strategy is very simple. They use the law of polarity and they take it to the extreme or the polar opposite. And that's what they present with. And it makes sense, right? Because it doesn't make sense to recreate the wheel. You can just make everything the polar opposite, right? So if it's alive, let's say if it lives, or how can I explain this? Y'all know live and live. Live and live. Like I'm live now on YouTube. Okay, that's different from live, right? So if you say live and you reverse it, that would be what? The opposite of that is dead. Right? Live, or let's say alive, the opposite of that is dead. So if you are alive, or if you are live, you're in full life. You're in full life. You're in full life, and you can present yourself if you're live. But if you're evil, you're dead. Lower self, higher self. At least that's the way I'm conceptualizing. So if you're alive, you would be what? Thinking, doing, and being in the higher self and higher self activities and thoughts. You're alive. And the polar opposite of that, or let's say you're civilly live. You're civilly live. In full life. Impropria persona. Sui juris. Not pro se. Right, y'all? Y'all see the point? All right. You didn't have any disabilities. You're alive. And the opposite of that again would be evil. So you'd be dead, civilly dead, etc., etc., etc. All right, now let's continue. Under Jupiter's good aspects, well, I'm not going to read that again. Uh, but under Jupiter's good aspects, deal with all dignitaries, ecclesiastical and judicial, comma, for commendations and recommendations of those well-to-do. So let's say you perform average or well, let's say on your job, and you want to move on. Okay, well the company, well, whoever is above you, however they might do it might be the HR people. They'd be happy to give you a recommendation letter. Okay, for you to go get another job somewhere else, or commendations, maybe for within the company. It continues, and from those in authority in church or court. But the court is also a church. The court is also a church. And the magi, the magistrate, is a priest. You can believe that. That's why they wear the black robe. And they have that Bible too there, right? For you to put your hand on in the courtroom and swear. Right? And execute judgment on you. Right? In all matters of natural honesty and morality. And with such persons as are noble souls, that would be higher self people, right? Pleasant and refined, humane and just, or jovial. Jovial. With prelates, churchmen. So these are the people you need to watch out for, right? These churchmen. Y'all know that the meaning of church is Circe and Kirke. This was a deity. I believe it was a Greek deity. She would lure people into her house, and when they came, she would lure them by beautiful smells, beautiful music. She would enchant them, get them to come into her house, and then she would dominate their mind, take over their mind, and then she would feed off of them. She would actually feed off of them, and they could not leave because they were what? She took their mind. In other words, she had them under mind control. And the modern day word for Circe, Kirk, the modern day English word is church. So these are men who entice you, who enchant you. What are they enchanting you with? The Gospels, the God spells, that doctrine. And then they get you to accept the doctrine and do what? Take over your mind. How? Well, JC told you. He told you. I think it's Mark chapter 4. I speak to them in parables. See, when someone speaks to you in parables and riddles, that means you got to think to try to figure this out. So now that they got you thinking, that's going to activate your imagination. You're going to focus on that, and you're going to produce that in your life. So narrative transportation, right? So that although having eyes to see, they never perceive, ears to hear, they never understand because they don't know etymology, they don't know anything about grammar rules, they don't know anything about nature. And so they are easily what? Their mind is uncoupled from their eyes and ears. So you can very easily, these churchmen, Kirky men, Cersei men, can very easily take over their mind. And you should also think about this in terms of the Hermetic Laws. The Hermetic Law of gender, specifically masculine mental energy. The one who has a weak masculine mental energy, this is the great I am. Well, their great I am isn't great. They don't know anything about their nationality. They don't even much know who they is, as my mother used to say. Right? You don't even much know who you is. So that person with the weak masculine mental energy, his subconscious mind can be activated by another person's or through media, through their masculine mental energy, if their masculine mental energy is stronger. Because your subconscious mind, which is the feminine mental energy, or the, talking about the Hermetic Law of gender, there's masculine mental energy and feminine mental energy. So they can actually co-opt that the same way a cuckoo bird does when it lays its egg in another bird's nest. And you begin to produce thoughts and behavior that are not your own. Okay? When you find yourself letting these Kirky men, these Cersei men, these church men feed off of you financially and in many cases sexually or abuse you physically, so on and so forth. Okay, judges, advocates, and lawyers of the upper class or rank, the rich who are good-natured and charitable, and with government and town affairs, money people, and church property, banks, etc. Y'all know where they got the church property, right? They got the church property by stealing it from the autochthonous indigenous people. And the banks are actually the bench, the court. All right? You have to include that in there. Jupiter persons are generally fond of horses. Fond of horses, so I wonder what the relationship would be to Sagittarius. The half man, half horse. And never bigoted in church matters. Never bigoted in church matters. Or religion. Are highly magnetic and attractive. So these are very charismatic people, right? So this is sounding like if they're never bigoted in church matters or religious matters, maybe these are people who would go into the priestcraft, or deacons, pastors, reverends, etc. Or even salespeople. Y'all know a lot of salespeople are religious Christians, right? And I used to wonder why, but it makes total sense because the New Testament is mind psychology, or the mind sciences, and you need to master the mind sciences in order to be a good salesman. You don't need to, but it helps a lot. And a lot of the training, sales training programs, get the principles, they lift it right out of the New Testament. Okay. So Jupiter is 1,300 times larger than Earth and has 4 moons. Jupiter has 4 moons and was represented by the ancients as having 4 star-tipped wings and having the thunderbolts in his hand. Jupiter rules over all matters of profit and good. So Jupiter rules over all matters of profit and good. So Jupiter must have some type of relationship with Mercury. I wonder what that relationship is, because Mercury is commerce. Mercury rules over commerce and trade. So y'all see the relationship? Also, what? Christianity is commerce. Okay. If I remember correctly, JC, the Christ figure, is also Mercury. But y'all go check. Yeah, I think Mercury. Yeah, Mercury, the messenger. Yeah, Messiah messenger. Okay. Jupiter's name, Jah Peter or Jah Petri, signifies Heavenly Father. And Jupiter, Aman, is thus interpreted, quote unquote, God, capital G-O-D, the Father, Ham, H-A-M. How about that? This is on page 147. 7 plus 4 is 5. I'm sorry, 147. Page 147. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 7 is 12. And we're talking about the Father, right? The Father and the Son. So that would be, the topic is the Father, right? The Father is the Son. So that would be 12 plus 1 is 13. The 12 apostles in JC the Christ figure. So y'all take a look. So maybe y'all, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it says his name is, can y'all see that? All right, here it is. His name is Jah. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I want you to try to see it. His name is Jah. The link to the free PDF is in the community section on my YouTube channel here. Okay, also y'all can get the PDF and read this yourself. Okay, so his name is Jah Peter. I'm going to read it again. His name is Jah Petri. Signifies Heavenly Father. And Jupiter, Aman. Aman or Amun, this is the Egyptian deity. Okay, y'all see the Egyptian deity? So Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yah. All right? Jupiter, Amun. So this is the Egyptian deity. Okay, it's one and the same, y'all. One and the same. Don't get mad at me because I'm saying it. In fact, the Tetragrammaton, tetra means 4. Gram, as in grammar. The 4 letters. The 4 letters. And then what? Tetra, gram, aton, aten, aton, however you want to spell it, the Egyptian deity. And then what is it? Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra. Also Egyptian deities. Okay? Signifies Heavenly Father, and Jupiter Amun is thus interpreted. So the meaning of Jupiter Amun is quote unquote God. Now we know God is a Germanic term. It's not ancient. It's a Germanic term. It's actually not even in the scripture. It is Odin. It is Woden, God. And I've seen also that it is Thoth, the Egyptian deity Thoth. Okay, Thoth. It also relates to, if I remember correctly, deity through thought. But anyway, I got that out of the Devil's Pulpit, so y'all can go check that because I don't remember the whole string. And then it says God the Father Ham, H-A-M, Ham. Ham would be what? Kemetic, Egyptian. This is why they claim to be, or this is why a lot of them claim that the Egyptians are hybrids, right? Or Europeans. Here's why. But because you know this information right now, they're acknowledging that their religious deity is Ham. God the Father Ham, Egypt, Kemet. Okay? Jupiter Ammon, or God the Father Ham, is chief ruler over electricity and was thus known to the ancients. Okay, so he's talking about ancients, so he could not possibly be talking about hybrids, right? Because they even admit that they are the newest on the planet. Now y'all should understand why the dark priesthood wanted to shift away from nature and natural law, because in nature and natural law, the autochthonous Moors are clearly the rightful heirs to all the land, all the resources, all the commerce, which would include contracts, all the resources, which would include air, all of the minerals, oil, did I say water? Everything. So you see why they want to shift, right? Shift away from nature and natural law, because remember, the well-established principle in law is that land and law go hand in hand. They are inseparable, and Moors are land. So therefore, land is the substance and subject matter of the law. Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. There's nothing there for a hybrid. There's nothing there for the Han Uman. There's nothing there for the troglodytes. Nothing there for the Neanderthal. They're non-descendable. So what did they do? What did they do? Well, they decided to shift away from natural law to what? Evolution. Evolution, okay? Which is a perversion. I mean, it's just a straight up lie. But evolution says that the newest, the youngest being on the planet is the most advanced. And since it's the most advanced, they have the right to rule. Y'all see the logic? And this is why they took the same law that our ancestors established and just did the polar opposite. They just did the polar opposite. So it went from a republican or self-governing state of mind to a mob rule, democracy rule, to feudalism. Okay? Very, very simple. No creativity, no nothing. They did no work. So God the Father Ham, who is Jupiter Amun, who is Jehovah, is the chief ruler over electricity and was thus known to the ancients. He it is that makes the thunderstorms. So that would be Thor, right? And purifies the air. Persons ruled by Jupiter are generally fortunate in dealing with horses and fish and judgments and with banks. Churchman, now he's saying and with banks in 1892. I think it was in maybe 1891, that the U.S., what did they do with the silver, y'all? the silver was available, but I don't remember the story. But check in the trust handbook by Weiss. I think it's by Weiss. They passed some type of legislation that basically prepared. It was with silver. They demonetized silver, something like that. But it was preparing the people to accept coming off of the gold standard or demonetizing gold. But check it to get the details for sure in the trust handbook by Weiss. So at that time, the Federal Reserve was not in existence. So he's talking about banks, so real banks, okay? I think this was done with silver in 1891 or thereabout. All right, so churchmen, Circe men, Kirky men, and judges, and fortunate in getting out of disasters, so lucky people, and in averting, avoiding or averting disasters or unfortunate situations. Okay, so Jupiter's diseases are those of corrupt blood. Wow. Jupiter's diseases are those of corrupt blood. So I'm thinking corruption of the blood, breaking the Most High's laws, as it were, right? Living out of harmony with nature, losing your birthright. Okay, you or your family, right? I think it's Deuteronomy 5:29, talking about corruption of the blood, and is it Attainder, y'all? I think it's Attainder. Check my community post, you'll see it. I put a post up there. Okay, blood poisoning and festering and the like, and pleurisy. So that would be with the lungs. All right. So corruption of the blood. This would be with loss of the birthright. Well, that would make sense, okay, because we have the birthright, so and you can lose it. How? Through corruption of the blood, okay? You lose your right to inherit. And your children will lose the right to inherit, okay? So Jupiter rules over royal purple and over minds of 10, produces even and pretty teeth, and a jovial disposition, also rules over zinc. I wonder how that plays out, ruling over 10 and zinc. So I'm thinking about bronze and copper. I don't remember for sure, but I think tin and zinc are added to copper to make bronze, or something like that. Y'all can check it. Actually, I go over this, and I go over that in the video that I did, the location of the promised land according to Moses. But y'all can Google search that. Google search the ingredients of bronze. Okay, so Jupiter's period is 12 years, or one sign per year. Wow, one sign per year. 2.5 degrees per month, and 5 minutes per day. The Hebrew character Shemesh, or number 5, affixed to the 5th day of the week, Thursday, is formed from Shemesh. Warm and ash, a star, or star of warm, which is the character of Jupiter. So y'all, these are biblical Hebrew characters. So Jupiter is the star of warm. Oh, this is interesting. Jupiter is Vishnu in Buddhism. So now, y'all, we're starting to see the astrology of now Buddhism. I'm in Vietnam. There are a lot of Buddhists here. Some people practice it as a religion. Others practice it as a philosophy or a way of life. So I'm not sure how he's referring to this. Let's just say he's referring to Buddhism as a philosophy of life and not a religion, okay? Jupiter is Vishnu in Buddhism. Jupiter rules over the first hour of Thursday, or Thursday. Well, that makes sense, right? Jupiter is the god, or the chief ruler over electricity, Thor, right? Or y'all can think about the superhero Thor with his hammer, and he controls the thunder and lightning, right? All right. So Jupiter rules over the first hour of Thursday, or Thursday, and is identical with the Scandinavian Thor. All right, so there it is. Or the Thunderer. So now we're starting to see the templates, okay? These different deities all following the solar or the solar zodiacal projection, the ecliptical zodiac projection. Y'all see it? A solar deity. Okay? So Vishnu is a solar deity. That's Buddhism. Thor is a solar deity. Jupiter is a solar deity. Jupiter Amun is a solar deity, all right? Or as the ancients would say, God the Father Hand. And I should also say this. The ancient house of Yasharala, they never referred to, quote unquote, the Most High as their father. That came, it was J.C. the Christ figure who popularized that. And I think it only appears some 2 or 3 times in the Old Testament. It's my opinion that they just inserted it. All right. So when there is a family relationship, it's very indicative of Nephilim, bloodline relationship, right? Bloodline relationship, father. As opposed to in adoptive, right? For example, you adopt someone, you adopt a child. It's not a bloodline, you just adopt it. Okay? How long have we been going? Almost an hour. All right. So page 148. A Jupiter ruled person is one who is one of a comely person in stature, full-faced, full-eyed, a sanguine complexion, so that's a blood red complexion, so he's talking about hybrids, right? A sanguine complexion, so y'all see there is a focus on hybrids. So for example, you can't look at someone like me and say I'm sanguine. I don't look red. right? Unless you say cinnamon. So what I'm saying is that we need to go back and work this out or figure out uh, what. I'll give you an example. I think most people have heard of Santos Bonacci. I heard him say in one of his videos he can look at you and tell your zodiac sign. So he knows these the phenotypes, the profile. But the whole complexion thing. Anyway, I don't see it, but he continues. He says, or mixed with white and red. See, y'all, a sanguine complexion or mixed with white and red. What the heck is white? What the heck is white and red? A large space between his eyebrows, usually the beard flaxen or sandy colored. So, our people very rarely have a sandy colored beard, right? The hair is nice brown and inclined to curl about the neck. So so you see the hair is straight and curls at the neck. So this is not, for example, if I let my hair grow, my hair is curly. My hair has more larger curls. So our people usually have what? Straight, silky straight hair, like let's say people in India, silky curly hair, or curly hair, or nappy hair, right? Or tight curls, as I guess I should say tight curls. Okay. If Jupiter be combust at birth, the hair and beard are thick, dark, or black. His eyes not black. A Jupiter or jovial person has teeth well set, good broad teeth, but usually some mark or difference in the tooth foreteeth, either slightly separated, awry, so a gap between the teeth. So if you see someone with a gap between their teeth, they're probably a Jupiter person, okay? Or some imperfection in their teeth, okay? If Jupiter is in a fiery sign, or if the Jupiter person is in a fiery sign, his hair gently curls. A man well-spoken and honest, very liberal in religious matters, a person well-rounded and stout of limb. And if in a watery sign, will be fleshly, so thicker, bigger, right? If in airy signs, large and strong. In earthly signs, a man well descended. Even where Jupiter significator, even were Jupiter significator of a clodhopper or low person or clown, he is of better manners and behavior than others of the class, for he may be significator of such according to birth. His mean motion per day is 4 minutes, 59 seconds, but the diurnal motion reaches 8, 10, 12, or 14 minutes. So y'all, you know what? What would be very useful is to have pictures of what a Jupiter person looks like, what their profile, their phenotype, actually for each sign, because just reading this, it doesn't really help me to, I don't really get an image that would distinguish one, let's say a Jupiter person from someone else. So if anybody has anything like that, please send it to me. yasapa@zionlawschool.org. Let me finish this page, y'all, and then we're going to call it a day. Just one more paragraph. So Jupiter is diurnal. Jupiter is a diurnal masculine planet, temperately hot and moist, and the greater fortune. When well placed, Jupiter is the author of all that is high, so that we higher self, noble and faithful, a lover of fair dealings, desiring to benefit all persons. So this is an honorable, right? An honorable man, or this is higher self. A great reliever of the poor, liberal, hating all meanness and sordid actions, is just, wise, and prudent, courteous, and affable in conversation. So I'm going to check some of my other books, y'all, and see if I can get better, more precise descriptions. Because this is not very helpful for me. But Santos Bonacci, he's able, he must have found some way to be able to look at people and tell what sign or what disinformation. So it has to be there. It has to be someplace, or maybe he figured it out. I'm going to try to contact him and ask him. Anyway, y'all, I'm tired. I had a long day. And I need to go. I have other commitments I need to take care of. So we did this for about 1 hour. Thanks for spending your time with me. And I'll see y'all within about 24 hours. Islam and Shalom. Peace to all the Moors.